And joining me for the discussion is Sheba Jage. She's been here before talking about, giving us very valuable advice on how to prepare our pockets for hard economic times. And today, obviously, we're talking about times that are far off, even for young people, but very necessary to prepare for. Don't you agree?
Yeah, you say far off.
Yeah.
And then when you think about it, you know, it's like 3 more months till the year is over. So yeah, it sounds
flies.
far off, like when you're in your 20s, 25, but you know, you don't know when 30, 35, even 40 strikes.
Yes.
So I think it's the best time to have this conversation.
Yes,
the earlier the better.
The earlier the better. And why is it important to save early or prepare early for retirement?
Why it's important is because one time we'll reach and we are not as strong or as energetic or as productive as we are,
creative.
or even creative. You know, and that's why they set up this age, whether it's 55 or 50 or 60, depending on like your country or even your own personal evolution.
Yes.
When you're younger, it means you're more productive, you're more energetic, creative, to be able to, you are a key resource for yourself. So it's very important to start thinking, what can I do now to prepare myself for when I'm not as creative or as resourceful or as resourceful as I'll be. So it's very important for us to have this conversation.
Right, and what are the pitfalls that you might risk falling into in case you do not save?
I think there's nothing as scary and bad as being old and broke.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know how it feels like, but you know, we've seen many people who are in their old age, their kids have to take care of them. You know, they don't have enough money to take care of their health care. You know, they still had dreams that they can no longer afford. Those are some of the challenges, that you cannot be able to live or afford your lifestyle as you would like when you're in your older age.
Now, I would like to know, very often you find people approaching their retirement age with some sort of regret because of the career path they chose or because of not living up to the passions that were burning inside them because they just wanted that one job that seemed viable, and then it becomes too late and they want to start afresh. But then you can really empathize because it must be difficult. So before we get into the options that we all have when to save and prepare for retirement and how early we should start, how do our career choices affect our future in the long run?
First, I'd like to demystify the myth that it is my job or my business that will determine how I will be in the future. Let us free ourselves from, you know, it's a career decision that I make right now that is going to make sure that I am okay when I'm retired. Do you know what really matters is what I'm doing with my money right now? Am I saving right now? Am I investing right now? So that, you know, the idea with retirement is to be able to afford that lifestyle at that time. And how you get to start thinking about it is, for example, right now, how much is my current monthly lifestyle cost? And appreciating that when I'm 40, when I'm 50, and even 60, I will have to be able to pay from my pocket as well. So it's not about the career, it's not about the business, it's about where the money is coming from right now. How am I taking care of it? Because I can be having a very good job or a very good income from my business, but if I'm not putting my money aside in the right way, I may still end up suffering. So, but then I like also the aspect that you've brought in, that sometimes people regret when they're older. They're like, oh my God, I didn't get to do what I really wanted. So there are two aspects. There's the money aspect, the financial sustainability aspect, and then there's also the aspect of your purpose. And when we are older, we want to be able to feel fulfilled. And I think, like, if there's anyone who's watching right now and you are 20, 25, and even 30, it's about time you start thinking, so what am I doing financially to take care of myself? And also, what can I do right now in my career, in my business, to be able to do what I like, you know, what fulfills me.
Purpose. And often you're told when you do what you love, then the money actually follows.
Ideally.
Ideally. Now, well, then let's get into the type of, well, first of all, we all want to have our white-collar jobs, be permanent and pensionable, as they say, but that is not always a reality, right? So you cannot just put it at the back of your mind and expect some deductions to be made so that you can afford your life after you retire. Sometimes we never even get the right contracts or the right jobs that would afford us that. So what are the options, putting this in mind, for young people to actually be proactively saving for retirement without waiting for that ideal job that will make you secure?
Can start as early as now. That's the cool thing now about what our financial institutions are offering. We don't have to wait till we're employed for you to be able to start contributing for your retirement. You can start as early as old as when you're 20, or even as long as you have your ID and PIN number, and you can start contributing based on what you can at the moment. And the earlier, the better, because what you have is a long period of time, and so your money is able to be invested and it works for you. So there are quite a number of pension schemes, pension funds that are being offered by various financial institutions that are available for everyone across the board. The truth is, as you have said, in fact, not all employers actually contribute to your pension other than the usual NSSF. And you know, the truth is, it's not enough. And even what is very interesting is if you go and look at even what you currently contribute and your current monthly lifestyle right now, it's not enough. When you're 70, when you're 60, it's still not going to be enough. So you have to think about it right now that yes, I can still get a pension fund when I am young. Right now, I just walk over to the various investment or insurance companies that we have and tell them, you know what, I'd like to start saving up for my retirement. What options are available? And they tell you, you know what, there are these things that we call annuities that you can start contributing as low as possible based on what you can afford, and you start. As your income gets higher, you're able to keep topping up for free, and you're not charged for that. And the good thing with our country, depending on how much you contribute, up to 20,000 shillings, it is tax-free. So it means that anyone else can contribute to all the way to 20,000 shillings without being taxed at all. Anyone who is currently employed, it is also your responsibility, whether or not your employer is matching your pension. By the way, you can still go sign up for your personal pension fund and tell them, I want to be contributing. Go to the finance desk in your office and tell them, I want you to be sending my contribution to X and X company. And immediately from your salary, they will be deducting for you. And at least you get to also save up how much you're paying KRA. But if you don't have a job, even if you are self-employed, start. Even open an account, get a pension fund, but also remember that what you're even contributing to the pension scheme is not enough. So you need to start thinking what other ways. And the other ways now is what I'm saying about investment. You have to start thinking about having a good diversified portfolio, setting it up early in advance.
Before we get deeper into the investment bit, I'm curious, I love that you brought up the fact that you should envision the life that you want to live after you retire. Because also often you hear stories about people who are living this cushy life in the city, and then suddenly they have to relocate to the village, and they realize even the meals they are having are different, and just the stress and the old age can even make them ill. So you need to think about what kind of life, do I want to drive? Do I want to have a driver? Do I want to have my own, nice home in a quiet place in the village, or do I want to stay in the city? And you need to be able to.
And the cool thing about planning, and which is very important, because even when you go to sit down with the advisors or even these companies, they ask you, so what do you want to earn when you're 55? What do you want to earn when you're 60? So you have to have sat down to start thinking, what do I want? And the good thing about thinking and dreaming about that and planning it out, it's free. It's about you sitting down and saying, I want to be able to be getting an income of X amount every single month. I want to be able to be traveling, and this is approximately how much it will cost. You're able to even do that. I want to have a driver, as you've said. I want to have my own home. So at least least when you have that plan and you sit down with them and share with them what you want, they're able to tell you, okay, that means that what you need to have accrued by then is, let's say, 30 million or 60 million shillings.
Yeah.
And if it is 60 million shillings, therefore, if you are 22, 25, 28, this is what you need to start contributing right now.
Okay.
And that is very good, because even if they tell you, you know what, you need to start contributing like 5,000 or 2,000, 12,000 shillings, you're able to start asking yourself, so where do I get this money? And you start, it's like ideally working backwards. So the plan really helps you think about it.
Yeah, so you figure out the figure, and then you can do the math and see now, from now on, I need to be saving this amount. And then slowly maybe you can increase as you work towards that figure. And it really motivates you and informs your plans, I guess, as you're working toward the goal.
Yeah. And even, let me also just emphasize that whatever there are many people who could be employed, even young people, you're currently about just to get in your new job, or you've just gotten a new job and there's a certain salary they're paying for you, and they're telling you, we will match the contribution you make. That's a good thing. But also find out, go and have a conversation with that company that is holding your pension. Remember, when your company has this pension scheme with that fund, they've chosen what is most affordable or favorable for them. They've thought about it from all staff point of view. So you also have to go and sit down with them and find out, so what are the benefits here? What do I stand? What if I increase? Are there any potential benefits for me? So very important. So just don't sit down and say, my company usually matches my contribution. It may not be.
It's okay. You need to be more proactive in your approach. Now, far from that, then the saving is not the only way, or making such contributions. You can actually have long-term investments, or the sort of active businesses that actually give you income that you can push towards that. Tell us more about how young people can approach this.
So young people need to appreciate and to know that what you have is time. So if, for example, you plan to retire at the normal usual age we have in Kenya of 55, and you're 25, it means you have about, is it 30? 30 years to go. About 30 years to go. So with 30 years, it means you have the luxury and the opportunity to invest in even high-risk investment options, because high-risk investment options give you or promise you higher returns. And what they usually require is time. So what they're encouraged to do, or what we encourage young people to do at St. Autonomy, is to think about, am I ready to start investing in the long term? And also to understand that long term does not mean 5 years. Long term is not even ideally 10 years when you even look at our economy. Are you ready to start putting aside money, investing, whether it's in a business or in shares or in even other investment options over a longer period of time? Of course, you will be observing. Let's say you look at shares. Shares don't need these people who are saying, I make money from speculation. There's nothing like that. First of all, I'm watching, I'm waiting till it goes low. Of course, some of them do that and they make money, but you're also risking a bit. But if you look at shares in that case, all you need to do is invest in a business that you trust, that is currently performing well. Look at what we usually call the fundamentals of investing in a business or in a share. Is it liquid? How are the leaders like? Do we like the leadership? How has the growth been? And what are the current projects that they are saying that they are working on?
Basically doing your research.
Do your research. And the good thing about all the companies that have been listed, they have what we call investor relations on their website. So you're able to go and have a look and see this is their plan, their strategic plan for the next 5 years. And if it's a company that you feel, I'm interested in that, then you can sit down with a stockbroker. So shares are a very good way for young people to start investing early, even for their retirement, as they also have the normal saving pension fund. Even a business, and we were talking about it with you the other day. It's not too late to start something or investing in a business or in an area that you really care about. So it's about time you start thinking about that and knowing and appreciating that business, you just don't make money at TCG in a year, 6 months, the way people are thinking.
Right.
We've seen people in the Tumba business, in the taxi business, they've had to invest time, and you know, in a couple of years, that's when they start getting returns.
Sure.
So business, shares, even investing in bonds, you know, like they are long-term bonds. Like last week on Tuesday, there was a bond that was listed in the newspaper, an infrastructure bond. And that's an opportunity also for young people to start looking into. And what you can now say, you can start saying, X amount of Kenya shillings I will put aside for my retirement.
For your retirement.
Yeah.
Now, and then that's on individual level. Are there options to pull together your monies with maybe a group of friends and push towards a certain investment? And how viable are these?
It is viable only if all of you have agreed, and you have agreed that the reason why we've come together and we are putting aside our money is because is for purposes of retirement.
Sure.
Why? Because we've seen also very many chamas coming over for training and stuff, and one of them, you know, a couple of people are thinking, me, I want my dividends in the next 3 years. Someone else is like, I thought we were buying plots. Someone else is like, me, I thought we were going for trips. The idea is also the same way you said, can we sit down? You know, when you are, the more the merrier.
Sure.
And because you are putting all your monies in one basket and you're able to invest and therefore go faster. But it also means you need to have a clear strategic plan. Why are we sitting together? Why are we investing together? If it is for retirement, what does retirement look for us? Are we working towards a common objective? And so that when we are investing in the different investment options that exist, whether it's real estate, shares, money market, whatever it is because we have agreed that's the direction we want to go to. So investment groups are a very good and a very viable solution. But you have to work towards a common objective.
Yeah, you have to have a common objective. Now, I'm thinking of still young people going for it and expanding their vision for business or saving in an ambitious way that is leading to early retirement. Because you're talking about this 55 or 60, but is it possible to be ambitious enough and more strategic in a way that you might, if you have a white-collar job as one of these 9-to-5s, that ensures that you can actually step aside from it and engage in even other things that you might enjoy in your older ages, but early enough, given our economic times, which are not very...
And you know, people, I've just seen in the news as you were reading the news that 1,000 people are going to be laid off. And the truth is, retirement is what you define for yourself. There are some people who say, me, I want to be able to have retired by the time I'm 40 or 45. And what that means is I'm able to do, I don't want to necessarily be stuck doing the specific thing. I want to be able to do whatever I want after that. And therefore, that means you have to be a highly ambitious and strategic individual. Asking yourself, so what am I doing right now so that I'm able to achieve that goal in 45? And if I'm working towards 45 or even 50, you know, because that's still a young age. My mom is about 50-something and she's the youngest person I know. And it's because you want to be able to be more active or resourceful in other things. You need to work backwards. So what do I need when I'm 45? Right?
So that math that you're doing, you bring it closer.
Because now I'm like, if right now, this is, maybe let's say I find that my cost every month at this moment when I'm 25, which I'm not, is about 50,000 shillings. Do you know that means then when I'm 45, maybe I'll have kids, maybe I'll have a husband, maybe I'll be traveling, I'll have a car, I'll have all these things. It will definitely be more, even 5 or even 6 times more, right? So I need to think about that so that whatever I'm doing right now is working towards that. Wherever I'm putting my money is in a place that is actually growing my money actively. That's why you can't put that money in a savings account, in a fixed account or a money market. It means, and I was just thinking about it as I was coming here, you know, when young people are getting jobs or looking for a new business to start, and you're like, 25, Maze, I'm young, let me just enjoy the money, feel how it's like. When I'm like 30, I'm going to start investing. You know, you're eating into your time. You're eating into the time you'd have wanted to retire at a specific time. You're even eating into the time for the normal 55. So you have to start immediately, start putting aside, have an account, you know, can I just say, as soon as this week.
Yeah, just go open an account.
Go open an account. In fact, go meet a couple of pension schemes and see what they're offering, what costs they're charging, what management fees, and then be able to say, okay, by the end of this week, I've spoken to 5 of them, and this is what they're offering. At least start by doing something now, and it's never too late.
And also, this should, I know you see all these stories all the time of an old person abandoned somewhere, and it's not really good, because the older we get, we're more susceptible and vulnerable to diseases and all these needs that sometimes your family might not be able to match up. So you need to be, I guess, proactive in that sense. Now, as far as investing for young people is concerned, there are ways of doing it and making profits and making money that would go into that in this country. But I'm always curious about opportunities outside. Why don't we often look outside? Because there might be opportunities that we don't see. But as Kenyans, being ambitious as we are, we can't actually take advantage of them. Should this be an option also?
I think that's an option, especially if you know what you're doing. You know, I don't know whether you're talking about doing business in other countries. I don't know if you're talking about buying Starbucks shares or buying Facebook shares,
any of that.
or even investing in the Forex market, which are all good. But I always say, you know, do it from a point of knowledge as well. By the time I say, this is what I even challenge people in class, by the time they're saying, Shaba, so when can I start investing in Forex? I'm like, so have you at least invested in the Nairobi Stock Exchange for starters? Because what that does, it starts giving you experience. You start understanding, oh, so this is how markets works. By the time I go starting a business in Rwanda, can I also just attempt starting a business here so that I'm able to understand the basics unless I am there? What I like about a show that I watch from KTN is a show called Daring Abroad. And you can tell these are Kenyans that are seeing opportunities wherever they are, and they're saying, so what can I do back home and here? So yes, let's look out for these opportunities. Even the young people, we encourage them, but do from a point of knowledge, research, so that you also don't burn your money. But also the reality of life is sometimes you actually lose money, then that's when you're like, oh, so that's how it works. And I'd rather lose it when I'm younger than when
you're 50 and trying to gamble.
So experience, so you're building experience. So they're really
I love that point. You need to know what you're doing, but you can only get that through experience. You cannot read enough books to give you that hands-on.
You have to do it.
Yes.
That's why I even say, like, the day I bought my first share is when now I learned. It's one thing to read from the book, despite the fact I did business and finance and accounts. But when I bought it, I'm like, oh, this is what I have to think about. I hadn't thought about stockbroker charges. I hadn't thought about all these things. I even got into trying to invest through an app. You can only know when you do.
Absolutely. And I mean, 30 minutes is not enough to exhaust all this. But the main message that you're getting today is that you really need to plan ahead, and you're never too young. Even if you're watching and you're 18, I mean, you need to get this started. Now, as we conclude, just tell the people watching at home about Centonomy and how they can gain more knowledge, because like I said, we can only talk so much about these.
We can only talk so much. In fact, we usually do these sessions in like 3 hours for a couple of weeks. So what we do at Centonomy is we empower people. Our goal is to shift mindsets for purposeful people to create wealth and live abundantly. And how we do that, we have a personal financial management course. We have entrepreneurship course for those in business. We have a career advancements course for those who want to use wealth as a wealth creation tool and start saving up, because the course is starting in February. Check out our website, our Facebook pages. Our YouTube is very active, so you also get to learn a lot. But I say invest in your knowledge, feed your mind, and do the work.
Absolutely, and that has been your money. Michael had a question for Sheba. I don't know if he'll have time to do that, but of course.
Well, very simple question, because we've talked about not being too young to start a pension fund. Is one ever too old?
No, for me, Michael, what I say, as long as you're alive and you're energetic, it means that you're worthy. It means that you have value. It means that you have something to exchange, and it means you can start. In fact, what I even say for those who are, if you're 40, if you're 50, it means you can. What you can't do is maybe you can't invest in very high risk investment options because you don't have the time to lose money, right? But you can start a passive income business. You can invest in money market funds. You can actually even start saving up for like even an emergency fund so that when you need your money, you're able to access it. So it's never too late. Just don't keep saying, I'm going to do it tomorrow, or I've given up, because there's something.
Well, it's never too late. And like they say that we enjoy the shade of a tree today because somebody planted it yesterday. So begin to plant your tree today for your investment tomorrow. That's where we wind up the show. My name is Mike.